are HTLA Radio 1. You will lower your shields and prepare to be boarded. We will add your distinctiveness, your advertisers, and your sponsors to our own. Resistance is futile.
This program is intended for mature audiences only. If you have any homicidal or suicidal feelings, please consult a doctor before listening to this program.
Now, the man who is just permanently banned from Facebook because of his opinion, we give you
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good night. Well, do you know what time it is? That's right, kiddies. Crash Talkers. It's the Crash Talk time. Time for the old Crash Talkin'. On tonight's show, I am once again, taking on the school board. Oh, yes. More importantly, actually, the Board of Education. As in, the paddle. Yes, you know I'm talking about the bend over the desk and get a spanking for your badness at school. Yes, I am. And tonight's show is going to be all about that and all about, well, geez, some of my kids. I know you're all out there. Yeah. And, yeah, so it's going to be a really, it's going to be a humdinger. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, stay tuned. It's going to be, well, what's it going to be? It's going to be disciplining. Yes. I'm disciplining. Are you excited? I'm excited. Let's get it on.
HTLA Radio 1 in New York City proudly presents Crash Talk.
Oh, there it is, Crash Talkers, and you are tuned to HTLA Radio 1 New York on this fine Wednesday. And yes, I know, you're like, hey, man, what the heck? Crash Talk ain't a Wednesday show. Well, this is a special edition, and you can rest assured, Crash Talkers, that right following this show, we will be getting into Film 101 for this week, where I've got all kinds of crazy cool production stuff to go over with all my film students out there. And speaking of film students, I was once the student of Louis Lawless, my lovely co-host tonight via satellite. Say hello, Louis.
That was a mistake on my part.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, I think. No, it's not. Well, here on Crash Talk here, a number of weeks ago, actually it was a number of weeks ago, it was more like a number of months ago, it was the last school year, actually, about this time last year, when I took on the PMSD in their disgusting manner in which they deal with parents in the United States. It's quite disgusting. I'm just going to leave it at disgusting. How about that?
You being Catholic, you realize that you can have birth control. You realize that?
Of course. Let's go to President Obama, see what he says about it.
We are inevitably going to have problems. I, as Commander-in-Chief, will always do what's necessary to protect our men and women around the world. I'm the President of the United States of America.
Thank you, sir. Yes, very, very good.
We need to revamp our education system, K through 12 in particular.
Well, you've got that right, sir. Oh, my goodness. Don't you think he's got that right, Louis?
That was a mistake on my part.
Okay, Louis. Yes, I like it.
I think it should be short and sweet.
What, the discipline or the, the what?
Sex is only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah?
How many different families do you have?
Okay, that's enough. Calm down. We've got to get back on track here a little bit. Yes, we must. Let's do it. We're back. Yes, we are. Ready to rip it up on Crash Talk. Oh! HTLA Radio 1 New York. Let's do it. Isn't that cool? I love that one. Love that announcer. Who is that guy? Huh?
Bullshitters, never keep your mouth shut, always hustling, always looking for something to do and putting
Yeah, okay. All right. Let's get back to the actual show tonight, which is spanking in schools. Yes, it is. With a paddle and everything. Now, I don't know how old a lot of you listeners to my show are. I mean, I have, the general age bracket that the show is targeted at, of course, but then we've gotten, a lot of listener mail and a number of situations and opportunities where I've actually had reason and ability to actually speak to some of my listeners. And that's going to be opening up a little more, too, with HTLA, where we're opening up a phone line. Yeah, so you can call into the show and give it to us straight, as it were. But I do have listeners that are maybe of school age, because there is some fun stuff on this show, isn't there, Louis?
That was a mistake on my part.
Okay, all right. Mr. Obama?
We need to revamp our education system, K through 12 in particular.
Right. Okay, all right.
I, as Commander-in-Chief, will always do what's necessary to protect our men and women around the world.
Of course you will, because that is your job, isn't it?
How many different families do you have?
Who? Louis?
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
Yes, you can. You can just go right ahead and do that.
My film, Unrepented, did very well in Europe.
Oh, did it?
I think it should be short and sweet.
Okay, well, it's dragging out here. We're dragging out the whole first segment here. We got to get to what's going on, which is spanking in schools. And getting back to my listeners and some of you who may be listening to the show and actually still attend school, did you know? Actually, you probably didn't, but the older set, yes, the ancient folks around my age, they will of course remember this, that spanking was in schools all the time. There was no problem with it. It was just a cost of doing business, and if you got into trouble, of course, when we were in school, you'd get sent to that principal's office, and 9 times out of 10, you'd be over that desk getting a paddling. That's right. Now, the interesting thing is I was speaking last year about my daughter Gianna, and her issues with the fine folks at the PMSD, and that hasn't gotten any better. No, it hasn't. No, in fact, it's gotten worse. And I am preparing a crash talk specifically for that topic and that situation. However, I still have to clear things with some attorneys before I do, pertaining to a recording of a particular meeting that we actually had with them that I did record because, well, I'm just like that. And no, I didn't inform them I was recording it. It was for my own record and Kate's, and so far that's the way it's sat, and that's all good. But no, this show is more about some amazing, interesting things that I've discovered recently, and kind of a little bit more to the feminism angle and exactly how that whole mess has aided in screwing everything else up. I should mention that tonight's show is brought to you by Sumatra Coffee. Absolutely. And I can't name the brand because they don't pay me. But I will enjoy a finely hand-tooled Corinthian tobacconist product. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Coffee and cigarettes. Should rename this show to Coffee and Cigarettes. What do you think about that, Louis?
That was a mistake on my part.
It was? Oh, did you do it, or...
Bullshitters, never keep your mouth shut.
Oh, Mark, it's good we got a mute button in here. Yes. No, so we're talking about peddling in schools. And did you know, because I did not know this until just, 3 days ago, spanking in schools is still allowed in 19 states across the United States of America. Yes, so tonight I'm going to tell you where paddling is still legal. Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately with an underscore, unfortunately, the report is actually brought to us by a fine feminist lady who's doing this article for MSN Lifestyle. And, so I'm going to have some issues through this, but we'll get through it together. Won't we, Louie?
You being Catholic, you realize that you can have birth control. You realize that?
I do. And, what can I say? I love bareback,
I think it should be short and sweet.
Well, it is. I'm Irish. Ba-dum-cha! Come on, that was a good one.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
Alrighty. Okay. Well, for those of you who thought the days of educators physically disciplining their students were over, yes, I was sad to hear that. Well, we're dead wrong. That's right. Paddling. That's a paddling. Paddling, the archaic and incredibly upsetting disciplinarian tactic, apparently, she says, is still being practiced in schools all across the U.S., in 19 states to be exact. I'm shocked and appalled. I mean, this is 2014, right? How is this still happening? Oh, man. You're part of the problem, lady.
They get fucking crazy because...
Yes, they do. Yes, well, we'll beep that later somehow. Yes. Okay, well, get your pens and papers ready because I'm about to give you the list of states that are actually still paddling the little behinds of the little children who are getting in trouble and fixing their wagon, so to speak. Yes, these states are Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Wyoming. Every single one of those states, they all permit the paddling of children. To paint a picture, she says, the children, even elementary school students, go to the principal's office where they are told to bend over and grab their ankles while he or she spanks them with a paddle board. And then they get sent back to class and continue going about their day. She says a paddle board, like it's supposed to be, probably some schools don't have a budget, so they get a board with a nail in it. Yes, to make it even more horrifying. Yes, this Lauren DeCure is the lovely feminist lady writing this. She goes on to say that as a parent, I would never, ever stand for something like this happening to my son's school. But apparently there are people who feel that this tactic, which is essentially child abuse, she says, is meant to, quote, restore parental rights and approve discipline, and that children should be hit a little harder to ensure that. Just last year, a legislator wanted to give schools permission to hit harder than what was condoned currently by law. Corporal punishment, she asks? For children? Those two words don't even belong in the same sentence, let alone in schools. Okay, here's a hint for you, lady. Now...
That was a mistake on my part.
No. This is all her mistake. Number one, corporal punishment and children, they're not two words. That's three. Corporal punishment is actually two words. Children would be three. So maybe instead of not getting a paddling when you were in school because you were such a good girl, maybe you should have paid attention in the math department. Just a guess,
We are inevitably going to have problems.
Well, yeah, if you don't get paddled, of course you're going to have problems. Wow. Okay, so, yeah, those two words don't even belong in the same sentence, let alone in schools. So what, those two words, as you say, don't belong in schools? So what, like World War II, we're not going to teach what corporal punishment is? Let's be realistic. That's a little ridiculous. She says, this is horrible, and it teaches our children that physical abuse in any setting is okay. Well, we really have to take a couple of steps back here, I think, and look at something a little more closely.
I think it should be short and sweet.
Yes, Louis, but part of what I do on the show here is, of course, to take deeper looks at things and really analyze as to whether something is right or wrong. And in my opinion here on the surface here, this is completely wrong. You were paddled as a child. You're not, there's no detrimental effects to you, right?
Sex is only the tip of the iceberg.
Well...
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
All right, that's it. I'm completely wrong, and we shouldn't be paddling our children. No, I'm just kidding, of course. That's absolutely wrong. The problem, one of the major problems we face today in America is that we have too many kids growing up who haven't had any discipline, any corporal punishment, have been allowed to carte blanche whatever they want, and given no end of devices and computers and cell phones and Xboxes and all this other crap to keep them distracted while they slowly grow up so you can get them out of the house. Yeah. Well, ultimately, what you end up having is, of course, children that can't count. They think 2 words is 3 words, and 3 words is who knows. You get people with uneducated opinions about just about everything. If you want to hear, my show is the Opinionator Show, but if you really want to hear opinions, talk to anybody 20 years old or younger, because you'll get no end of opinions because they know everything. Did you not know that? One of my daughters, 14-year-old, Gianna, she, and I've even talked about it on the show. I mean, she's had some problems at school, and she's had some behavioral issues, and they were her fault. But she knows everything. She just does. You can, all the time, Kate and I are talking about things that she knows nothing about. She has no practical experience with. She's never even heard of some of the terms we talk about, and yet she interjects all the time with this overbearing attitude of, I'm right, you people are wrong, and that's just the way it is. Which is, pretty much the leading contender for all the problems that are wrong with her and me in this house. She claims to talk about gender fluidity like it's something she practices. But it's not something to practice. It's not even a definable term. It's some new PC gay rights transgender thing they've come up with to I don't know, put something in brackets?
Sex is only the tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got that right. Absolutely. But really, if we go back 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, back when we were all getting paddled in school, we didn't have any mass shootings at school. Didn't have them. They never existed. They didn't happen once. And you can bet your Yankee dollar that Americans had just as many guns laying around as they did back then. So what's really changed? The Americans, the Second Amendment, our right to bear arms, all that good stuff, that's been around for over 200 years. But somehow magically only in the last, I think, 17 or 18 years now, we've had all these school shootings, and it's almost to the point where what? Well, where they happen like, geez, Bob, every week. Well, we're going to go for our first commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about this lovely, lovely paddling show.
You're listening to Crash Talk with Christopher John Taylor, a.k.a. Crash Jesus, on HTLA Radio 1, New York.
The
apocalypse is coming. Will it be aliens, zombies, or a global financial meltdown? Whatever it is, you need to be prepared. Get your complete apocalypse kit at Ammunition. Contains foodstuffs and alcohol for 3 months. A massive array of armaments. Water purifier so you can drink your own urine. And cyanide pills so you can go out like a man. Don't dial 911. Dial 357. Ammunition. Protecting your rights.
If only the world was less like this.
I could use a smoke.
Hey, put that out!
And more like this.
I could use a smoke.
You murderer! I might have children one day!
Smoking kills, unless you kill first. If you're around a smoker, you will die. Smokers may look relaxed and like they're having fun. Don't believe it. Vote yes on Proposition 421. Let's outlaw smoking everywhere, even in people's homes, and allow honest citizens to legally kill anyone who smokes. Let's live in a world without smokers. Prohibition works. Let's prove it. Let's move up the food chain. It's time to smoke the smokers. Vote yes on Proposition 421.
You want your kids to be safe, so you give them a mobile phone. What are they going to do when they get attacked? Throw it at someone? Why not force the state to keep us all protected by arming everybody? The senile old lady in her home, the 3-year-old on the playground, the priest in his church. We think everybody should carry weapons at all times. That way nobody gets hurt. It's a proven fact. Where there's more guns, there are less shootings. Vote yes on Proposition 45. Mandatory concealed carry for everybody. The nuclear deterrent won the Cold War. Let's use the same logic and win the war on crime. Proposition 45. Teach your kids to protect themselves.
The event movie of the year everyone is talking about.
You're just a virus. You're not real.
I'm your mother, stupid!
A group of people that think the whole world is trapped in a computer.
We can't get out!
Hurry! Stick your hard disk inside my drive!
I can't! My hard disk crashed!
Reboot it!
The Mainframe. What happens when 5 college students take LSD and discover the truth?
Ah! Your face is a big pixel!
And they have to make the decision of their lives.
What's it gonna be? Yes or no? 1 or 0?
The Mainframe. It's real.
The Mainframe!
Coming to theaters this Friday. Rated PS for Pretty Stupid.
Now, the man who is just permanently banned from Facebook because of his opinion, we give you Crash Jesus!
That's right, Crash Talkers. We are back, and yeah, I hope you enjoy those commercials. I don't know how much longer I can run them. The corporate office here at HTLA is pulling in some real sponsors and advertisers, so I'm not going to be able to roll my usual awesome, cool commercials anymore because people are apparently buying up space. Oh well, what can you do? Just sit back and drink some more of that Tim Hortons coffee. What do you think, kids? Yes. Well, speaking of kids, we're talking about paddling tonight on the old Crash Talk at HTLA Radio 1 New York. 61 degrees right now and raining in Central Park. Yes, it is. And it's still pretty unseasonably warm here. I don't know. It's kind of weird. We might be in trouble or something. What do you think, Lou?
That was a mistake on my part.
Oh, did you make it rain and stay warm or something here? Hey! Oh, let's thank Louie. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, yeah, we're talking about the old paddling, and I was just before the break there. I was talking about some of the experiences I've had, and I'm sure Louie's had, of course, and we didn't have all these school shootings back in the day. That's really where I was before the commercial break. And here's kind of an interesting thing about that is that the availability of guns has always been relatively easy in this country on the whole because of the Second Amendment and the misperceived meaning of that amendment and The fact that it can be changed, of course, because it is an amendment. But besides all that, and then, not turning the show into the whole NRA argument, we're dealing with these school shootings now almost regularly. It's gotten to this. Well, I mean, the Wolf Blitzer and the CNN boys would have you believe it's an epidemic, just like Ebola is an epidemic. Yes, the economy's an epidemic. Everything's a goddamn epidemic. Epidemic, I said, kids. That's right, we're all going to hell in a handbasket. Oh, there it is, the hell in the handbasket. Well, I just don't really understand what the disconnect is with everybody out there, especially in this age of PCers. The PCers are, supposed to be all about equality for everyone. Yes, well, then I would submit as an argument before the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C., that if everybody should be equal, then everybody should be paddled. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going there. Damn it. I should go and have a filibuster. Yes, I'll be another Jimmy Stewart. Yeah. Are you guys with me? I think you should be with me. I definitely am pretty safe in assuming that, you're with me as far as, I don't know, geez. You've got to be with me as far as history goes, because there's no arguing with history. And seriously, before 16, 18 years ago, we never had school shootings. That it wasn't even something conceived of. Right? But now what? What, the PCers that claim they want equality for all, the homosexuals and the transgender and all the other groups out there that have reared their heads as organized groups and factions all over this country since the PC thing has really taken hold in North America, all of a sudden, all of them want equal everything. Literally equal everything. Doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Palestinian, Chechnyan, frickin' Roman Catholic, Christian, born again, West Psycho Baptist Church, those lovely, lovely people that have a right to protest military funerals, all that other sickening shit. Oh, wait a minute, I got a beep for that. There we go. All that other sickening... There you go. We'll edit that down in post.
That was a mistake on my part.
Yes.
We were 5 steps away from winning the Academy Award, and we didn't.
Well, and you see, now, because you didn't, that's why you're, guest hosting with me on my show. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
Don't you worry, I've got a button for that. You cuss all you want there. I'm ready for you. Well, now, over the commercial break there, we've gotten some reaction from some of you, the listeners out there in HTLA land. First comment comes from Carrie Wilder. She says, in other words, the spankings we got as kids and we learned to behave, be afraid of being punished and learn to respect our parents and teachers was not a good thing. Come on, 1 or 2 time whoop in the butt works. Look at how disrespectful and misbehaved kids are now since spanking is not used anymore in general. It has its purpose. There you go. Thank you, Carrie Wilder. You absolutely are right on the same track with me and good old Louie here.
I lived in Greenwich Village for a while when I first started out as an actor.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Vera Lowe says, Lauren, you and your ignorance will be the fall of this country. Yes. See, here we go. Here's a feminist PCer. And yes, she is 350 pounds and has a mustache. Badumcha. There we go. That was funny, wasn't it, kids? Yes, it was, because Crash is yo daddy. Well, Vera says that the kids of today need a SWAT more than ever. Oh, you changed your tune, did you? When I was growing up, kids would never even consider taking guns to school and shoot friends or schoolmates. Oh, really? So you're with me now on this? Okay. Kids got smart-mouthed and with the teachers or disrespected the law. Very rarely did you ever hear about problems that were going on with today's society. I would say this is plain and simply spare the rod, spoil the child. All the parents today are raising a bunch of kids that don't fear authority because they never have to face a consequence for their bad behavior. She says, I see it every day where I work. Kids kicking, hitting, screaming at their parents, and the parents standing there like a bunch of idiots, allowing them to continue. I'm pretty sure that we will be building more and more prisons for all you little angels. Yeah, see, and, you know, the interesting thing there is that's exactly it. And you know why parents stand there in public and just take it? I can tell you. Because they're afraid of child services rearing their ugly heads. Yes, because all some lame asshole has to... Oh, geez, what did I do? Lame... There we go. Has to do is make a phone call. And because of the lovely, broad, spanning laws in this country, they can make a phone call anonymously. They don't even have to have any kind of responsibility for picking up that phone and reporting you. Oh, no, they don't need to give you their name or have any kind of accountability whatsoever, or indeed any kind of basis for an actual complaint. They can just say, well, I was in Walmart and saw this parent and this kid was kicking and screaming at their parents, and so, you know, he bent the kid over his knee and spanked his butt. You would have child services in your house by the next day. You would be taking piss tests for drug use. You'd be put under all kinds of scrutiny. And for what? Because you bent your kid over and gave him a couple of swats in the butt in Walmart. Yeah. Well, that's the way it is here. That's the environment that you're forced to deal with. Why? Well, partially because of feminism, but mostly because of PC-ism. And it's funny, this whole PC movement has kind of grown and gained its you know, recognition quietly, very quietly. Carrie Wilder goes on, says parents are afraid even if they took their kid wrong, child services or some nosy person will call the authorities and have the kid taken away. Or they read forums on not punishing and discriminating kids because we can't hurt the kid's feelings. And ignoring a meltdown is fine because it lets the kid have control of his or her emotions. Isn't that just stupid? And it's funny you bring that up, Carrie. Absolutely. And here's, so if you ever want some ridiculous fun reading, just look on the internet. Go find yourself some of these non-punishing parent forums and just see some of their... Oh, I don't know, it reminds me of the hippie days. See some of their Woodstock ways at dealing with children's bad behavior. Instead of just addressing it right away and stopping it, it grows. And you know, it's kind of like dog training. It really is. You talk to any dog trainer and they'll tell you that, you know, if you want a well-behaved dog and you know, a dog that you can teach to do tricks or keep smart or be a service dog or any of the other reasons you would go to a dog trainer. Oh, geez, not the least of which is behavioral issues. That's the number one reason people who don't have purebreds in the AKC or the CKC go and get their dogs trained because they're having behavioral issues, because the dog's great when it's, you know, 6 pounds and sits on your lap and it's a little puppy, but when that sucker grows to be 150 pounds, all of a sudden, all these stupid little behaviors that you saw were so cute when it was 8 pounds, they're not so cute anymore because people are losing their eyes and all your stuff is getting damaged in the home and the dog is eating everyone. And yeah, you need to stop that stuff. You can't have a non-domesticated animal just running roughshod all over your home. Well, I would submit that the same goes for your children. They need guidance, they need structure, they need rules, they need expectations of behavior. Joshua Davis says, I have to agree with Carrie. You don't see kids that are disrespectful towards adults or had to be coaxed and bribed into doing anything that was asked of them when I was growing up. Spanking was more a cause and effect deal. You do this, then this is going to happen. He says, I got spanked, and I was always understood why, and I never had any bruises from it. You stepped in front of a car, you got spanked. He says, I can guarantee you that a quick swat on the bottom is a lot less damaging than getting hit by a car. Furthermore, he says, the timeout garbage is a waste of time, as it is more often a punishment to the parent and another opportunity for the child to nag his way out of it or just not do it because there isn't any real consequence tied to it. And I would point out, Josh, that whole timeout thing, that happened with, that started coming out in the mid to late 80s, where they started addressing the child's feelings and let's really explore what the issue is. It's just a little bit of bad behavior. But you see, as Carrie and a number of others have written into me here, are saying, is that over time, what does that do? Well, the kid gets to be 11 years old and thinks, well, hey, kids my age are going into schools and mowing down 30 and 40 and 50 kids and teachers and stuff. There's no problem with me grabbing Dad's pistol and going hanging out at the park with my homies. Oh, and then there's the homies, there's the gang mentality, and then, of course, indeed, organized gangs that actually operate out of schools all through the United States. Yes, they do, and don't doubt it. Don't they, kids? I'm on to you. Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah. Shut up, Crash. We got to earn. That's right, we got to earn. There we go. We got to go out and sell the drugs. Rick Waddell says, I'm very glad I was paddled a couple of times as a kid, and it gave me a fear of repeating the same disrespectful acts over and over. The young generation now has no fear of anything because you can't touch the attitude. You can't hate it or say the country has gone to SHIT. Oh, there we go. And it's the parents' faults for letting it happen. He says, I'm happy to say I'm old enough to be gone when the ship sinks. Good luck with your winning attitudes. Oh, thanks, Rick. Appreciate it. Well, and he's got a point. The decline overall of society, the increases in penitentiary stays, and the whole criminal justice system being overloaded in the last 5 to 12 years. Well, actually, even more than that. 15, 20 years. Conviction rates have skyrocketed, and yes, okay, I've said it before, I'll say it again, usually minorities, they are the greatest percentage of the convictions and the dealing and all the good stuff, but spanking and discipline knows no color. In fact, if the PCers were to actually look at it, it's completely equal across the board. Get it? Oh yeah, there's a little paddle joke there. Yeah. Tom Bowman writes that he was paddled in school and junior high. I didn't grow up to be violent, afraid, or a serial killer. I can't believe a swat on the butt is child abuse. Sorry. It taught me to behave or to face consequences. Kids today have no consequences. They may get talked to, and parents are told they must have ADHD or some other behavioral issue. The fact is, kids sometimes do bad things, and this is the punishment, period. These poor kids now are growing up thinking that there is no consequences for their actions and can't even comprehend consequences. I say swat away. By the way, I'm a parent in one of the spanking states, and all my kids have the same respect for authority and rules I've had my whole life. Well, hell of a good statement, Tom. Thank you. And he's dead on right. He's dead on right. Gianna, here's a fine case in point for Gianna again. They diagnosed her with ADHD when she was, I believe, 6 or 7. ADD, all these little new trendy equal ailments that the psychology world has developed over the last 12 years. Here's the interesting thing, though. When they diagnosed her with ADHD, they prescribed, I think, what was it? Now, what was it? I think, don't quote me, I might be wrong, but I think it was lithium. And, of course, she had this huge reaction to this drug. She was hallucinating, everything else. It was a really bad scene. And, I think Kate should have kind of gone and done a lawsuit there right then and there with that, because that was just wrong. But, what do? You can't spank the kids. You certainly can't spank the PhDs, right? Well, we're queuing up for the second set of commercials, so enjoy these fun ones, and we'll be back in 2, gang.
You're listening to Crash Talk with Christopher John Taylor, a.k.a. Crash Jesus, on HTLA Radio 1, New York.
We're gonna take a break. Don't touch that dial.
Too fat and lazy to come pick up a bazooka? Log on and have it at your door the next morning. Log on to ammunition.net. Try our motion-sensitive cluster bombs and shoot-to-maim automated firing gun turrets, which come ready to assemble in 284 easy parts. Ammunition.net also has a full line of generators so you can keep your fridge running and the beer cold through extended apocalypse. Need to stock up fast? The strongest will survive with our all-in-one Y2K kit featuring a tractor-trailer load of lager beer, Redwood cigarettes, and enough firepower and ammunition to level a small country. Jesus! Y2K. It's coming, and you'd better be ready. Log on to ammunition.net now. Protecting your rights online.
My family! He's got a gun!
Someone's breaking into your home. What do you do? Call 911? It takes the police an average of 35 minutes to respond to a 911 call. In that time, a burglar could have his way with your wife, smoke a cigarette, flip her over, and go in for seconds. Don't let the worst happen to you. It is vital that you protect yourself. Do it the patriotic way.
That's right. Ammunition has all the equipment you need to protect your family from the evils of a liberal society. Fixed, mounted, and shoulder-held submachine guns, mortars, surface-to-air, and all manner of heat-seeking missiles. And just in to celebrate the Gulf War, pink and blue tracer bullets so you can protect your family in the dark. Start the week off right on Make My Day Mondays with 2-for-1 on main, strafe, and kill landmines. Got Gulf War syndrome? Get $10 off all machine gun rentals. Hey, if you love your family, prove it with a gun. Ammunition, protecting your rights.
The apocalypse is coming. Will it be aliens, zombies, or a global financial meltdown? Whatever it is, you need to be prepared. Get your complete apocalypse kit at Ammunition. Contains foodstuffs and alcohol for 3 months. A massive array of armaments. Water purifier so you can drink your own urine. And cyanide pills so you can go out like a man. Don't dial 911. Dial 357. Ammunition. Protecting your rights.
Until death do us part. Gosh, I remember that day like it was yesterday. Jennifer looked so beautiful. I knew I'd love her forever. And then she was driving along a canyon and her brakes went out. Well, I'm moving on now and remarried someone half my age. God, I love banging her. I started my life over with Crimson Executive Spouse Indemnity Services. Life can be uncertain, and you never know when your wife will be tragically taken away. Crimson set me up with a huge life insurance policy on my wife. I can't have her back, but now I have a second home.
I was devastated when I found out my wife was cheating on me, and even more so when she fell underneath the train. I was nowhere near at the time, and my phone records proved that. My life changed forever. I was a real mess for hours. Thankfully, the week before, I'd met with Crimson. Thanks to Crimson, I've had a penile augmentation and am much more confident with women. Thank you, Crimson.
To have a Crimson Planning for the Future kit faxed to you, just dial 1-866-505-CRIM.
Now, the man who is just permanently banned from Facebook because of his opinion, we give you Crash Jesus!
Woo-hoo! Yes, I was. Thank you. I was permanently banned from Facebook about a week and a half ago. I was. I made the mistake, actually, of putting out a movie review of, what the hell was that now? Dear White People. Yes, the lovely new Black Rage film that's got the PCers all up in in reveling in the PC-ness with their black lovin' film. Or, yeah, whatever. This is all... Oh, okay, you know what? I'm gonna...
I think it should be short and sweet.
Yes.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that right now because actually that's going to be another special 2-hour Crash Talk. Ultimately, and some of you know this because, well, you're with me on the Facebook there. I have actually been reinstated. Thank you to my lawyer, yes, who threatened Facebook's bottom line with the ridiculousness that was the permanent banning. And so I have been actually allowed back on my profile now after a week and a half, just earlier today, actually. And, yeah, so that's kind of a whole thing in process. And as soon as I have some sort of rectification or whatever the word may be, I'm going to definitely, absolutely have a show about that because I've got some stuff to say, dear black people. Yes, I do. What do you think about that, kids? Anywho, yes, we are back, and you are listening to the Crash Talk on HTLA Radio 1 New York. And, yeah, it's all cleared up in Central Park now. It's nice and clear, and no more clouds. They've all gone away, and everything smells fresh and clean. Malaka. Yeah. So, where were we before that break? Oh, yes, spanking. The paddling continues. Hansel Crawford says, sane people know that a quick whap on the butt is good in most cases. The normal generations of this country got a paddling at school and then another one when you got home for getting paddled. Sure made us better people than the snob-nosed, arrogant little brats running around today. Wow, it's funny. Every single one of these comments that we're getting here into Crash Talk tonight is absolutely in 100% support of discipline for your children and paddling in school. Wow, that's kind of odd. You know, I'm looking at all the emails here. I don't have one yet that's negative. I had that one that started out negative, but then she quickly changed her tune. Makes me ask a question. And this is kind of an important question, right, Louis?
You being Catholic, you realize that you can have birth control. You realize that?
Yes, and that's not the question I was thinking of, but it seems to me if parents across the board are all on board with the board, and no, not the school board, I'm talking about the paddling board, if we're all okay with that, and if it's a situation where we understand, even at the most rudimentary level. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying all parents have, college education and PhDs coming out their butts like all of these great teachers that are making $40,000 a year apparently do. But we'll get into that in another show. But it's really staggering to me that everybody's in support of disciplining kids, in support of paddling in schools, yet the PCers have made it illegal, and Child Services now, forensically examines all these families who, oh my God, may have spanked their child. And what about that? That raises a whole kettle of other problems, wouldn't you think? Oh, what? No? Oh, well, just think about it for a second, gang. Think about it. You're all worried about, Bob next door spanking his daughter for something. Because spanking is a gateway thing. It leads to, the anal rape of your daughter. Oh. What, I'm not allowed to say anal? Oh, okay. So men can't spank their daughters because, once they touch the butt, they can't resist the butt, and then next thing you know, it's anal rape. Is that what it really? Because don't laugh, because I've actually heard that many times from people who are supposedly more educated than you and I. That's right. But it just strikes me as absolutely, completely wrong that everybody we're hearing from tonight on this issue is all in support of discipline, yet, thanks to the PCers, we can't do that. That's abuse. That's abuse. That is abuse. Yeah. Lori Morris, she says, the legislator who wants schools to allow children to be hit harder than the law allows is wrong. But citing such misguided people is no reason to label paddling as child abuse. Wow. Listen to this. When done properly, Lori says, with love and giving reasons why the child is getting spanked, it's not abuse. It's a ritual. The child learns that the pain comes with disobedience, and that same child learns that the punishment will be an obedient, or that learns that, I'm sorry, I'm retarded today. Oh, but I can't use the word retarded because it's not PC. All right, so what is it? ADHD, mentally challenged. Mentally challenged, I think, is what it's supposed to be. Oh, yeah, mentally challenged. The child learns that the pain comes with the disobedience. That same child who learns from that punishment will be an obedient, law-abiding adult who will not have to experience the pain of being a criminal who is put behind bars to endure far worse things happening to their butt than a spanking. Oh my God, that's the new top of the line comment for Crash Talk tonight, Lori. Good job. Judy Holloway writes in, says the results of today's liberal method of child raising are demonstrated every day on the evening news. And yes, they are, whether it's, more school shootings or anything else. Yeah, anything else.
That was a mistake on my part.
Okay, all right, well, we'll blame you. Well, it's all your fault. Damn you. Anyway, if you'd like to write in yourself, of course, I've neglected the first two sections here to put out the email, but hey, hit us up at crashtalkin@htlaRadio1.com. And while I'm talking about that website, hey, check out that website, htlaRadio1.com. Man, it's a smoking website. It's unlike anything you've ever seen before, or likely will again, because, yeah, we're just that awesome here at HTLA, so... yeah. Gary Sawson. This writer is an idiot. The fact that she acts like spanking is barbarism shows how out of touch and clueless she truly is. Spare the rod, spoil the child. If more kids got a whooping for misbehaving, there would not be so many messed up kids. And Gary is just underscoring the thing that everybody has been saying into the show all night. It's the same thing. It's almost like, geez, all these parents, they're unified. Gee, you know what? All you guys, you're listening to me. Form a group. That's right. Form a group. Petition Washington under the guise of PC that under equality and the 19 states that do paddle, the rest should follow suit. Kind of like what they're doing with gay marriage. Mm-hmm. See how that's like, so-and-so was the first state to do it. I think it was Hawaii, and then more states piled on, and then more states piled on, and it's growing, and it's so great because we're getting the recognition, and we can get married, and when Bob dies, I can get all of his stuff and take it away from his children because I'm a greedy little bitch. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my God, did he say bitch? Yes, he did on Crash Talk, because that's just the way I am. Colleen Zimmerman writes in just a few moments ago, when I was a kid in school, all the schools I went to allowed corporal punishment. I lived in terror almost every day. I refused to send my child to a school that allows corporal punishment, not because it's wrong, but because I saw and heard way too many teachers that abused their ability to spank kids. They didn't just use a paddle, they used PVC pipes The parents went along with it because they agreed that they were too scared to stand up and defend their children. Or the parents were too busy trying to survive themselves. So, no, I don't believe spankings are wrong. I just don't trust the adults that do the spankings to not be abusive, because I saw and heard abuse in every school I was in, and I will never support corporal punishment in schools, period. Okay, so Colleen had a bad experience, but even she says that she's not against spanking, just against some of the people that do it. Okay, fair enough. We're going to have to, have, a spanking training course for teachers now. Okay? Yeah, that'll make it better. Well, you go for your teaching degree. It now includes, Spanking 101, and you have to pass the Spanking 101 in order to get your license to teach. There you go. Problem solved, PCers. Right there. Yeah, now you can go and spank and, yeah. And of course, there would be the ones that got through the cracks and abused children. But hey, how many teachers do you think are abusing children now? Or do you think that completely went away when we stopped allowing teachers to spank in those other states? Well, I got news for you. It didn't go away. And in fact, it's even more subversive now than it ever was before. But I digress. Yeah. Stella says, a paddle is fine, a ruler is fine, a PVC pipe deserves to have the police called in on that one. Yeah. Steven says, and just what's wrong with being too scared to screw up? It is not the fear of receiving a traffic ticket that keeps us from speeding or running red lights. Our fear of going to jail that keeps us from shoplifting or robbing banks, or even just cutting in line at the theater. Nothing wrong with a little fear. Terror, on the other hand, is wrong. And that's something that's going to be different for every child, and that's why corporal punishment should only be administered by someone not directly involved in the actual infraction, so emotions don't become involved. Mm-hmm. So, the PCers would have us have the old school marshals now. Yes, we got the air marshals and cruise ship marshals from my crash talk last week, and now we'll have school marshals that'll, absolutely not under any circumstances interact with anybody at the school, whether it be students or faculty, and just be called out of their big black box to come and spank when an infraction has happened. I don't quite completely agree with you there, Stephen. I don't know. He says, of course, the using of the PVC pipe is a definite no-no. I was spanked as a child in both my parents and at school. Only once at school, and that was just for some innocent mischief that ended up in a broken window. Well, that's it. It's a broken window, or it's swearing in class, or it's, the infractions we're talking about. It's stealing a pair of runners or something. It's the things that would get you discipline at school are the same things that would get you discipline at home. They're this, and what do we really believe this whole guise of, oh, well, we're not disciplining at home because that's illegal and we don't want child services here. Yeah, right. I'm going to call bull on that one. Yeah. I got time for one more comment here. John Hall. This is the same mom that will blame the school if her child is kicked out or fails. She will never look in the mirror and say that she is the problem, that she failed her child. Absolutely, because with all the rights that we now have under the PC guise, we certainly wouldn't want to take any responsibility for those rights, now would we? See, that's another problem that's kind of reared its head and grown into an epidemic in the last 20 years as well in the United States, and I would stretch and say Canada too, is everybody wants the rights, but nobody, and I underscore nobody, wants the responsibility of said rights. They just don't. Well, with that, gang, where is it? Oh, there it is. It's that time again. Thank you for tuning in to this special Wednesday night edition of Crash Talk on HTLA Radio 1 New York. I'd like to thank HTLA Radio 1 New York and HTLA Radio1.com. Check out the site, check out the rest of our shows, check out all that good, happy stuff, and I will see you. Well, when will I see you? I'll see you next Tuesday. That's right, at the regular time. We'll check you out and enjoy.
We are HTLA Radio 1. You will lower your shields and prepare to be boarded. We will add your distinctiveness, your advertisers, and your sponsors to our own. Resistance is futile.